This is a brief demonstration of the installation of RTI in a Linux John environment. First thing we'll do is talk about the preparation for installing RTI, the disk space you need, and other privileges. Then we'll go through the installation steps to get the RTI software installed, hook us up to John, and install the RTI console so we can look at the data. Let's talk a bit about planning for RTI installations. There are three components of RTI that we're going to install in this example: the performance collectors, and you install those on the host where your JBoss or Tomcat server runs. There's the John plugins, which you're going to install into the John server and then actually push out to the John agent. And finally, there's the RTI console, which you install on your desktop, whether that be a workstation or a laptop. Alright, the RTI performance collectors, again, you install that on the same host where your JBoss, Tomcat, or Fuse server is running. There's two parts of it. There's the software bits, the executable, which we call RTI Home. It only requires about 25 megabytes of storage. Then there's the data area, we call RTI Data, where we store our performance information. And that requires about 200 megabytes per JBoss instance. So if you're running 5 JBoss instances on a single host, you'll need a gig of storage for that. You'll require just the privilege to be able to modify JBoss or Tomcat startup script, and that's how we enable RTI in your environment. Moving on to the John RTI plugins, you'll download and install those on the John server. They take about 100 kilobytes of space. You'll actually install, again, one of the plugins resides on the server. The agent plugin, there's a copy of it on the John server, but you push it out to each of the agents. You need administrator privilege in the John server to be able to install and deploy plugins. The RTI console, you'll download and install that on your desktop, whether it's a workstation or laptop. Takes about 180 megabytes. You don't have to have administrator privilege to install this. You just have to have privilege to write it wherever you're going to install it. All right, let's take a look at where the various RTI components are installed in your system here. These boxes represent the hosts where you're going to install RTI. They're the hosts where your JBoss, Tomcat, or Fuse server is running. So we're going to install RTI. This box represents both the RTI Home, the executable part, and the space that you've allocated for the RTI performance data there. You install the RTI plugins into the John server here. The server plugin stays there, and then, as I said, the agent plugin will be deployed to each of the agents where you have RTI installed and I want to collect data. And finally, the RTI console, again, is stored on your desktop, wherever that happens to be.